Good evening. Finally, my camera, phone, whatever you want to call it, is working. It has rained, so I had to go out of town. I got all that hay baled. I didn't even have time to get the round bales off the field. Unloaded some of the trailer load of hay, and Dad finished that while I was gone. We still have the wagon left. Yesterday, I moved all the round bales off the field, and I'm getting ready to actually work on the skid steer because I've noticed I had a little bit of a problem shortly after I bought it. Not really a problem, but I noticed some stuff, and I noticed one thing is getting worse, especially now that I've been using the grapple, because it sticks out so far. It's a lot of stress. First thing, obviously, whoever had this before me did something pretty bad, I guess. But this here has been patched and welded and everything. I don't have any issues with that, really. It's the welds don't look the greatest, but it's held really well. But, I don't know if you can see it, there's a crack right here, and this crack goes all the way through this member right here, right there. And then a little over halfway through here that you can see, you know, it may propagate out in here a little bit more. But then there's also a crack that starts right in here, it goes right across here. So, what I'm going to do is we're going to gouge this one out and this one here out. We're gonna have to remove this piece here so we can get down the side there. We're gonna gouge that out, re-weld that, get that back to the way it should be. And so I could do that with it on the skid steer, but since there's something else I need to do, and that is I need to address these pins and bushings here in the main loader arm where it attaches to the quick attach. So if I need to do that anyways, I thought, why not go ahead and take the quick attach off the loader, and while I have it off, get the bushings, maybe the pins. I don't know what it needs, if it needs pins and bushings, just pins. I'm sure it probably needs bushings for sure. I'm gonna take it over to the bench, weld this, I'll be able to get to it easier and everything, and while it's off, we'll replace those pins and bushings, get it tightened up. First thing we'll do, take your bolts out of these the keeper bolts out of these pins that hold the cylinders on. Both sides, I've drove them out as far as I can with just the hammer. I'm gonna take this punch and knock them the rest of the way out. Put my pins back in here so I wouldn't lose them, put the bolts back in them. Got my first cap off. I'm gonna clean this grease out of here, see what we're looking like in there, and then I'll take that cap over there off, and we'll be ready to take these pins out and take that piece off. Now we've taken the bolts out of here, which holds the pin in. Taking this 1/2-inch bolt here, and the pin is threaded in the middle to pull the pin out. I'll be able to pull it out by hand because it's so loose. So we're taking this assembly off here, take a 9/16 socket, take this bolt out of here. There's a washer there, obviously. Then take a 3/4 inch socket, take this off, and the washer and the spring. And then this assembly here lifts right off there. So there's actually a slot on the back side here that keeps this pin straight up and down. See that slot right there? And this is just a roll pin. So if you want to take this completely off, just drive this roll pin out that slot and you can take that off. I'm actually gonna see if that's gonna be out of the way enough. We got the new bushings in. It was pretty easy. All I did was, there's a spring bushing, so I took a clamp, C-clamp, sprung them together, got them started, and then once I got them started, they just drove right in. We're getting ready to finish working on the quick attach plate. I got a die grinder and a little deburring bit to, hey Cade, he's riding his trike. A little deburring bit to gouge out more of these cracks I couldn't get to with the grinder. Also, this thing is sprung, so let's take a look at that. So at some point in the past, this thing, what I'm maybe guessing happened, probably one side of a bucket or forks or something came loose, came off, and it just pulled on one side. That's probably what some of these cracks are from. That's what all this nastiness here is. This here has been kind of repaired. And if you look here, I've got these clamps on here holding this plate here down. I'm gonna put a clamp back here. I'm gonna take my torch, I'm gonna heat right here to try to straighten this back out, but these aren't exactly on the same plane. As you can see, it's touching up here, and back here there's probably almost a 1/4 inch, and over here we're touching front and back. So I got these clamps here. I'm gonna put in a couple clamps over here on the back of this plate, and heating this, hopefully I'll be able to bend that up just a little bit. It won't take much, but I think somehow it's been sprung, or maybe this came completely loose, and if that's the case, then they didn't get this perfectly on the same plane when they re-welded it. I heated this up. I mean, it's not perfect, but there's very little movement. We're good. So now we're gonna finish gouging out these cracks and we're ready to weld. All right, we did some gouging. You see I got the side here better, got right in here better, got in here better, and the side there better. So we're gonna go ahead and start welding, and we'll catch back up when we get done with that. She's welded. You can see I did 3 passes, did a root pass and then 2 caps. Filled this all in. Same thing on this side. This crack here didn't go across there, so I just welded that spot there, and then the side, and then there's also some spots back here I welded. Here's one of the new pins. You can see, if you can see that coloration difference, right about here to here is darker than this is. This over here has been heat treated. You can see it on the end really well. This end has not been heat treated. The reason for that is this end is what actually goes in to the quick attach piece, and it's got a pin that goes through it, or a bolt. And so it's not actually rotating inside this piece. The wear should be taking place on this end here inside the bushing in the frame. That's where it's actually pivoting. For your information, this part number for this pin is a 135001, and there's a serial number split, and mine was like, gosh, really close to the split, but mine's an older one. So this is an older style pin. I don't know what the difference is, if there's a difference in length or what's different about it, but this is the older pin. So the way this is going to install, it actually installs from the outside, goes all the way through, and it'll end up in here like this, and you got to get this hole lined up with the hole in here, and it's got a bolt that goes through that, and that's what holds it. That's it. All right, guys, we got her pinned up. Yeah, just this bolt over here is just slipped in. This one over here is not even in all the way yet. Determined I need 3/16 of an inch worth of shims. I'm gonna go ahead and put the handles back on this quick attach, the actually attach handles, and I'm waiting on some shim material that I'm having cut. Got my handle back on here. Obviously I don't have them tightened, and we're gonna take the washer and spring off of here, and the nut. We're gonna take the bolt and the washer off of here. Think about it, these handles are really easy getting out. Install this, small hole goes on the bolt, big hole goes on the spring piece. I'm doing this one-handed, so bear with me. Left-handed at that. Okay, get that started, spring, washer, nut. Then we'll just tighten them down. And we'll be ready to go once we get our shims and get this piece here pinned back up. We'll be ready to roll. Evening. We're gonna go put these shims on this Skidsteer. So again, here's the shims. I actually cut 2 pieces. This is 14 gauge. If you can see, that gap right there is what we're looking to take up. So I'm gonna put one of these on this side and one on this other side. So I'm gonna pull this pin, get the first one in, and then we'll go over to this side and get that one in. Got my shims in. Can you see that? Right there. And there's virtually no movement side to side, but it still moves really free, so that's good. I'm gonna tilt this up here, and we're gonna pin it up to the tilt cylinders. Lube those pins up really good, get all that, and then we'll be pretty well done. I gotta tighten my keeper bolts, put my caps in, fill that full of grease, and then this little job will be done. All right, guys, I got some of my tools picked back up. I gotta throw some trash away. I got some scrap bolts and stuff there. Get the floor swept up. But while we got a little bit of daylight, me and Cade's gonna take the little tractor and go bush hog just a little bit. But we got this puppy all pinned back up. I'm excited to hook it up to something and see how well it works since I straighten these two things out so they're on the same plane. I hear Cade hollering at me. Kids nowadays just don't have the patience, I tell you what. Okay, Cade, you ready? We hooked the bucket up and we moved a little bit of firewood chunks out here where we're adding on to the building that were in the way. I didn't do a whole lot because it's dark and it is pretty soft back there, so I didn't want to, push my luck too much. And Cade's really wanting to ride it, but we're gonna go in and get something to eat, okay, Cade? We rode the tractor and we rode the skid steer. Okay, it's time to go in and get something to eat. It's nighttime. I don't know if you could tell, but he likes the skid steer and the tractor. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Again, this is Ross, the Franklin County Forage. God bless you. God bless America. Franklin County Forage out.